just like to advise everyone that this is a public meeting. It's being live streamed on the YouTube channel. All systems go? Brilliant. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, 28th of June. Item 1 is to receive declarations of interest under procedural rule number 3. Anybody? No. Item 2 is apologies for absence.
So we received apologies from absence from Councillor Brennan, Councillor Potter and Councillor Catchpole.
And no substitutes?
Potter.
Yep.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a point of clarity that I'd like to ask the monitoring officer regarding substitutes, if I may. Because of the change in time, there will be occasions that I will not be able to sit for the full meeting. So I will need or would want to have a substitute. At what point in time in a meeting would I be required to declare that I am wanting to be substituted? Does that have to be at the start of the meeting? What would I be able to participate as a member of the council rather than as a member of the committee, while the person that I have requested to substitute me for me would have my voting rights?
Okay. Can I just
get a bit of clarity from monitoring officer?
Yeah. But also, I think that question would probably have been better asked prior to the meeting of the monitoring officer. Okay. But okay, yeah.
So substitutes need to be notified before the meeting, and they substitute for you for the whole of that meeting. So they are here as you, in that if you were wishing to be in the room for part of it, then it's chairman's discretion allowing you in or not at that point in time, but you wouldn't be there as a voting member. So your sub is before the meeting and is for the whole of that meeting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Councillor Shaw.
Thank you. I had to cancel a rather important hospital appointment today to come to this meeting because it was organised for the afternoon, as we normally have the meeting in the morning.
Okay.
I will not be cancelling further appointments at the hospital.
Okay, thank you. Moving on then, so meetings of the... Sorry, I didn't see that.
Can I raise a point of order, please? Can I ask under what circumstances the times of these meetings have been changed, what the rationale for that is?
It's not an item on the agenda. That is not an item on the agenda.
This is an item I'm raising under a point of order.
But it's not a point of order.
Why not?
It's not in the public interest.
Not in the public interest?
It's not a point of order, it's for discussion.
That would be for discussion outside of this meeting.
Why?
Because it's not a point of public interest and it's not an agenda item on the...
Well, I have to say, I find that decision rather surprising. And I would just make the point that I think this is an item that should be at least on the agenda. It's not on the agenda. Why not?
Because it's not a point of order or or an agenda item.
Well,
so.
I have to agree to disagree.
Okay.
I think it should be a point for discussion.
Thank you.
I think it should be an agenda item for the future. If not on this occasion, then for a future occasion. Can I have a ruling on that, please, monitoring officer?
We can take that away and I'll discuss it with the chairman outside of the meeting.
Thank you. So moving on to item 3, minutes of the meeting held on the 7th of June. Can I take those as read? Can I check for any comments? No. Can I confirm there was a true and accurate record? So, Councillor Prutton, yes. Everyone agreed? For those that were here? Okay. Just to note that from the recommendations from the Overview and Scrutiny Committee on items 12 and 13, those items were not accepted by Cabinet as the report proposals were for enhancements to existing services. The existing service positions would not be changed. Item 5, Chairman's announcement. There is no Chairman's announcements. Item 6, public speaking.
There's no public speaking.
Thank you. I therefore move to agenda item 7, the empty home policy, page 15. Kevin, if you'd like. So you have Mike with you to help?
Thank you, Chair. This report follows the empty homes policy that was approved by Cabinet in June last year. I'll guide you through the highlights of the report. Paragraph 2.2 is a brief summary of the reasons properties become empty. I've said many times to councillors, I'll say again now, the reason properties become empty is for a variety of reasons: moving homes, deceased. They become a problem when the owners do not take what is expected as the norm, because most people see a property as a financial asset. When properties are emptied for an extended period of time, there's usually a lot of adjacent issues around the reasoning of that length of void period. Paragraph 2.5 details the options that we have for those long-term properties to take the necessary enforcement action. And 2.6 details the situation regarding council tax premiums. So in the paragraph 3.2, it details a snapshot statistics of empty properties that is done annually as part of the council tax return, and details that Broadland has an extremely low empty home rate, and one can see from those figures very healthy use of its housing stock. So there's a variety of reasons about that, and you have to say that our procedures that we take, our enforcement process is part of that, but very much so the premium council tax, which is actually quite austere, with after a 10-year period, an owner of a property that's empty after a 10-year period would have a premium on top of the 100% of an additional 300%. So that's 400% council tax payment. And you would have to say that is a relatively significant deterrent. So throughout section 3, it details the complaints we've had, the actions we've taken, and that we're bringing a property to Cabinet for proposed action in July, and further properties following that Cabinet decision, and finally the recommendation to acknowledge the report. Any questions?
Thank you. Members, any questions from members? No? Well, thank you, Kevin. Obviously, the policy document came forward last year, and the intention for this was to just ensure that the policy is working, and from the report, it shows that that does seem to be the case, and the value of the financial figures that were assigned and delegated to Cabinet seem to be adequate at this present time. So I'd like to thank you both for the report, and we will move to recommendation 8.1 to acknowledge this report, and 8.2 to continue the procedures as detailed in the current policy as on page 19. Thank you very much. Moving on to
Could I make an apology? When you asked for apologies, I should have given Ken Kelly's apologies. I don't know whether he did ask me to register that.
Thank you very much. So move to agenda item 8, starting on page 20. And this was the council staff turnover time and task panel report. We have no one from here. Oh, Emma?
Yeah, so I can take you through this, Chairman. So this was, councillors will recall, I think, I can't remember when I brought this back, I think I did say in the report, we met again as time and task. Councillor Nurden, I think you were at that meeting, weren't you? And we talked through, there was the query over whether how we could access that personal data to go back and undertake exit interviews. The report sets out for you why we're unable to do that and why we would probably get a complaint and a breach of GDPR if we were to do so. So section 3 of the report takes you through that. I think it's fair to say, and I'll ask Councillor Nurden if he wishes to add anything, that the panel accepted that as a position, not necessarily happy that that was the position, but accepted that that was the position. And as previously reported, noted the improvements that have been made to the exit interview process, and also how they are reported now through the quarterly performance reports that obviously the committee see on a regular basis. So the time and task panel at that point in time felt that they had concluded on the work, hence the report back today.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions on the time and task panel? No? So move to recommendations 8.1 on page 22 to note the content of the report and the conclusions of the panel. Everyone in favour? Let's go in. And next we'll move to item 8, the committee work programme. Sue?
Yeah. Thank you, Chairman. So page 23 is the start of the work programme. You'll see there the first 2 items is what we've covered today. So for the next meeting on the 6th of the 9th, we've got 3 items. 2 of those items, we've got guest speakers. The first one is the community safety update. So we'll have the police in attendance to give you an update on community safety issues. And you'll be offered the opportunity to feed into those. Secondly, I think it's quite long awaited that we have something on broadband. Whilst we don't do anything with Broadland here as council officers, we have got Norfolk County Council coming in to provide a presentation and hopefully some papers in the agenda. I think the last time we had one of those was over a year ago, so it'll be quite good to have an update on what's going on throughout the district with the rollout of broadband. And we also have the customer strategy update. So you'll recall that the newly appointed, well, over a year ago, customer engagement and insight lead, we asked her to come in and report on the work that she's doing. And we also added to that the work on the consultations, just making sure that we're engaging as much as we can with the public when we do consultations. So that's quite a lot of items for that meeting. So that should be an interesting one. Then in November, over the page at page 24, we're going to have again 3 items for that November meeting. We've got a review of the housing allocations policy, which was implemented in April of last year. So that's time to review it and making sure it's meeting its desired outcomes. And then we've got the Police and Crime Commissioner coming to that meeting as well. So that, again, should be a really good meeting. You'll be able to engage and get an update and make any suggestions that the committee's got to the Police and Crime Commissioner in person. And we've also got something that's been on the agenda a long, long time, but was paused due to COVID, and that's a review of our partnership register. So I'm going through at the moment and making sure that's all up to date, and the committee can have a good look through, see who our partners are, and if there's anything that's they want to review from that. We've then got the workshop in October, and that will be followed by the joint budget meeting. So that will be where you raise your budget questions. And in April, we'll have just the annual report. That's the only thing on the work programme so far. So then we've got the water supply and climate change, and I have asked Councillor Copleston, who doesn't actually have any updates at present, but I understand there's been a change in CEO, so hopefully things will start moving. She's hoping things will start moving with the projects, and something should be with us in due course with that. Just going over the page to page 25, that is the staff turnover, which has just been concluded by the committee, and also the workshop that I've mentioned previously where we discuss the budget.
Thank you very much. So everyone happy with what's coming forward on the work programme? Any questions for Sue? No? Good. Thank you very much. If there are any additional items that you want to, there is a flowchart on page 26, which shows how an item could be added to the work programme. And if nobody has anything else, then I'll close the meeting. Thank you very much.
Chairman, can I just say,